Hello and welcome to Yarn Live, the Women in Data Science 2025 series. And today we have the organisers, or as they are known, the ambassadors of Women in Data Science New Zealand. And as you'll see, there are four of them. So we have Ivy Liu, Qi Chen, Bing Zhu, and Kate Kolich. And now this is an exciting interview because we've got a fair amount to cover, and this is all of the background history, basically detailing the kaupapa of what WiDS and data science is all about, and of course some of the interesting facts around the scholarships and also the past events, and of course the upcoming event. So let's start off by getting the team to introduce themselves, and we'll start with Ivy Liu. So I'll pop you in there so everyone can see you. Over to you.
Yeah, I'm Ivy. I have been working at Victoria University for over 25 years. So I'm professor in stats, and also I'm the deputy director for Center for Data Science and AI. So I pass on to the other person.
Yes. So now we'll go with Qi.
Hi, my name is Qi Chen. I'm a senior lecturer in AI at Victoria University. My work focuses on machine learning and explainable AI. I've been involved in promoting data science education, monitoring students, and supporting outreach activity aligned with the Women in Data Science mission. Yeah, that's all about me.
Shishi. And now we'll go to Bing. If you could introduce yourself too, please.
Hi, I'm Bing. I'm a professor in AI. I'm also the deputy head of School for Engineering and Computer Science, and also deputy director for the Center for Data Science and AI. I have been involved in WiDS for quite a few years, and looking forward to all of you this year again.
Shishi. And last but not least, Kate Kolich.
Kia ora koutou, ko Kate Kolich tōku ingoa. I'm the head of data and artificial intelligence at Contact Energy, and I am one of the co-founders of Women in Data Science New Zealand, which we started 8 years ago, and also a member of the advisory board at the Centre for Data Science and Artificial Intelligence. Very excited that WiDS has been going for so long in New Zealand.
Excellent. And that was great to hear about everything that you do. And I'm going to make a comment. I don't know how you all do everything that you do because you all sound extremely busy. But to come back to my dear old mum, who of course was a early data scientist, or statistician was the title back in her day. She always said, if you want something done, ask a busy person. Hence, probably testament to the success of everything you do through the universities, your work in private companies, Kate, and of course the Women in Data Science. So now if we could move to discussing Women in Data Science, and all the elements from what its purpose, the history of the events, the scholarships, etc. So who would like to pick up the first part of this discussion and share about WiDS purpose?
Sure, I'm happy to do that. So look, really delighted to be here today, Ryan, and thank you so much for all the support that you're providing for Women in Data Science New Zealand this year. Our mission really is to cultivate the next generation of data science and AI leaders by providing resources, upskilling, networking, mentorship, and growth opportunities for both students and professionals. A lot of what we do is actually about providing our up-and-coming leaders in the data science space an opportunity to meet and network and hear from established leaders in the data science space in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And we're really, really happy that we've been able to do that. And one of the other ways that we've done that is through our scholarships, which my colleagues will talk about. But I'm very proud to say that we've had over 100 women speak at our Women in Data Science New Zealand events from all parts of industry. So yeah, over to Ivy or Bing if you want to share a little bit about the scholarships.
Just before we jump into
Bing,
Bing,
you can go ahead.
Yeah. For the scholarship in women data science, and it has been run for quite a few years. We have supported many women students involved in data science or statistics or AI, and so I'm very glad to see our students now, especially women data students involved in data science, they have been applied to many areas of their study, and in the future work or research will do further study. And this is actually also the first year that we run for postgraduate women in data science scholarships. And so every year, basically, the sponsorships we obtained. So I would say majority or all of them are put in the scholarships for the maintenance. What Kate has just mentioned, we want to support as much as we can for future women in data science leaders.
That's excellent. Now I've got a couple of questions for you each before we move on to hear from the others about the coming events. But Kate, you mentioned that over 100 women speakers. So if I tie that back to you mentioned that they're typically senior people in the industry, which, if we think about it, the purpose of WiDS is to grow the number of women in data science. To think that over 8 years there've been 100 plus senior practitioners who are women speaking, it's a great sign to see how many there are, and of course that will grow, and there'll be a greater selection available in the future. Also this year there are a couple of younger women who are just a couple of years into their work. So is this the first time that you've had some of the younger practitioners, or has it always been a little bit of a mix?
Yeah, good question. Thanks, Ryan. It's always been a little bit of a mix. So what we're trying to encourage is a real intergenerational networking. And we actually started this right from the beginning. I always invited, the very first person that we had who was at that time early in her career was Emma Vitz. She's now very well established, obviously. She facilitated a panel at the very first Women in Data Science event, and she had only graduated a couple of years earlier. So we always try to have a recent graduate or someone who has only been in their career for about 3 or 4 years facilitate our panel discussions. And each year we have a career panel, or we have something focused on a particular theme. For the last few years, we've had privacy and ethics themes. We've had Te Ao Māori, data sovereignty themes. And as well as that, we like to invite recent graduates to present their career journey as well, because they're just as valid, and they provide inspiration to our current students in terms of what they can look forward to. And what we're hearing from our attendees is that they're really enjoying the opportunity to meet a chief data officer of a large public sector organisation or a private sector organisation, because otherwise they just wouldn't actually have that opportunity. So yeah, we're really proud of that.
Awesome. Now, before we come back to you, Qi and Bing, I just want to ask Ivy around the scholarships that you were just talking about. There are both undergrad and postgrad. So this year's the first postgrad. How many years have you been doing undergrads, and how many undergrad scholarships have been given away?
We have done at least 4 years, as I remember, at least 4 years undergraduate scholarship. And we have given out, so each year we give out different number of the students scholarship. Sometimes we give out 2, sometimes we give out 4. Last year we gave out 4 scholarships. So it really depends on how much we can get. So we really appreciate our sponsors who kindly, donate all the money for our scholarship. So the amount of the scholarship and also number of the scholarship really depends on our sponsors. So here I really want to show our appreciation to our kind sponsors, and of course include Ryan, yourself, your company kindly sponsor us. So thank you for that. So this year we plan to give out 3.
Excellent. And to give thank you very much. And to give an equally big thanks to the silver sponsors, the Social Investment Agency, EPI Interactive, and who can help me with the third one? It's just
New Zealand Stats Association and
That's
MB.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
MB.
And then I'm one of the bronze sponsors along with brightspark.io and NZ Stats. So that's where my confusion between the Stats Association and NZ Stats. And there's one more in there, Voco Consult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now if we could look at and we'll ask you, Qi, if we could look at past and present event, if you could give us a little bit of a rundown of the upcoming event on August 18th, and then maybe some comparisons to some moments in the past that connect to the upcoming event.
Actually, compared to the other three, I'm relatively new to the ambassador's role. I'm mainly involved in this year's ambassador role, but I've been involved in Women in Data Science event for quite a few years for organizing the events. Yeah.
Well, in that case, we'll get some help from the team, which is exactly why there are teams. So Bing, Ivy, Kate, if you could tell us a little bit, support Qi with sharing a little bit more about the upcoming event and any sort of thoughts from past events and how they correlate over the years.
I'm happy to kick it off and maybe just share that you just talked about our sponsors, and a few of those sponsors have been ongoing in terms of their support. So we really do thank them for that. It's thanks to our sponsors that the event's actually free, and a lot of people don't realise that. So the calibre of speakers that I'm going to talk about, quite often you'd go to a conference and you'd have to pay $2,000 to attend. So we've just published our program and really excited about our program. This year we've got a fireside chat with Dr. Dana Briscoe, who you interviewed last week. We also have a really interesting career panel, Navigating Career Journeys in Data Science, with Daria Kwan, Austin McCourt, Jan Shepherd, Makushla Howe, and Daria is from ACC, Austin. She used to work in my team a few years back, and she's actually at New Zealand Police. So she's probably only 6 years into her career. Jan Shepherd is the Chief Data Officer as well. Makushla is the Head of Data at NZ Post. And Jamie Linton, who received our Master's Scholarship this year, she's facilitating that panel. We also have a panel on unlocking value, shielding privacy, and AI for open data innovators. And that has Liz McPherson, who is obviously the Deputy Privacy Commissioner. Liz was at the very first Women in Data Science event all those years ago as well. Napira Riley, who is the Chief Executive of Figure NZ. And Emma McDonald from the Centre for Data Ethics at Stats NZ, and Amelia Bentley, who I think you're going to be interviewing on a Yarn Line live coming up soon. She graduated from Victoria University only a couple of years ago, and she's going to be with a data science degree, and she will be facilitating that panel. We have all these speakers and more, so really excited about it. Do come along.
Yeah, and it's amazing when you started referencing some of the experienced people who have been involved at different times throughout the history. And this is probably a good time to introduce the discussion around the community, which has been touched on. However, we can maybe dive a little bit deeper into it, because you've mentioned experienced people that have been involved at different parts throughout the past, and some who came in to the first event as say a little more junior, and have now over the past 8 years of WiDS have become more senior. So tell us more, each of you in your experience about the community, and if there's young women out there, and also not so young women, some young women who are coming through from school to university, and not so young women who are already in a career somewhere that are potentially thinking, I used to love my maths. I used to be really good at it, but I didn't go down that path. But I'm actually thinking I might get back into it. Tell them about the community and what they can expect in terms of how welcome and invited and support that they can expect. Who'd like to start?
Shall I go ahead? Yeah, I just want to mention that about 10 years ago, and I developed the new program, the master program, master of the applied stats. The unique component for that program is to work with industry. So I think in the past we didn't work so much with industry, but after that program, because we have an internship, so I work industry a lot from 10 years until now. So I arrange all our students to industry, and the students become successful in the industry. So I could see my students how well they have done. And through this program, through these Women in Data Science events, lots of my students came back and to show me what they have achieved. And also I like our new students to be able to see what women can do in the industry. So I think that is a very great part for the current students and also our previous students.
Yeah, so it's a virtuous circle of starting and then growing and evolving and sharing to the newcomers that come in. And if we now look at your thoughts being on the community, if we look at a different perspective that you might be able to share, I think when Kate mentioned about the hundreds of speakers, I'm thinking, how many attendees have there been, and what are the various tentacles that all the different attendees have created that come back and support the community as well?
Yeah, I think that's great. Let's start talking about the number of attendees. So I was one of the over 100 speakers for WiDS in 2022. Then I was becoming the co-ambassador in 2023. So I was Kate and me was involved in organizing this conference. Since myself, I organized many research type of conferences. So the one thing I always worry about is the number of attendees. And for this one, I'm looking at, so there's no publications related. There's no, so not many other things involved. At the beginning, I was worried about the number of attendees. And I then at the end in 2023, as in that was just over COVID, and there was over 200 attendees, and we also received quite a lot of sponsorships. I can see the community, and so then I can see what Kate and Ivy said. The community. Our previous students who at the university and the industry leaders, they all come back to support the community. And we see the new members join the community. And they're becoming the after they graduate from the university, they go to the industry. So the community becoming bigger and bigger. And so I really enjoy doing this. Although you're saying that we're always very, very busy with many things. This is a unique conference, unique community, like everybody wanted to join. And also I see the energy I can give by myself as well. I see how the women data scientists, from the student to the tech leaders, so much energy they have. I found out I got energy myself after keep involving in WiDS for many years. Yeah.
That's amazing, and I can agree. Communities create energy, they create a vibe, they create an atmosphere. And we'll come to you in a second, Kate, being the most experienced, but we'll just touch on from Qi's the least experienced in terms of community, because you would be one of the fresher faces in the organization team. So you would probably been most recently part of joining the community and experiencing it as you then stepped up into the ambassador role. Could you share a little bit about your perspective of before you're an ambassador and what it was like to join the community and be part of it?
Yeah, actually, I've seen I just joined as an ambassador just recently, but during the past several years, when I joined the organization, I can see it actually these local events actually bring together a number of students, researchers, and industry professionals across different career stage. Is quite inspiring to see how even a single talk or can shift people's confidence or direction. I've seen a lot of our students and also early careers, including myself, get inspired by these talks in the past. Yeah.
That's great to hear. So we've heard about the energy, we've heard about the inspiration. Now we'll go to Kate, the most experienced member on the team for WiDS, being 8 years running. What are some of the observations and insights that you've seen, maybe some of the good stories in terms of over the years, what's happened with people joining the community and some of the buzz that they've enjoyed coming into it?
So I think that the biggest thing really had been the networking opportunities, which we were able to even sustain through the COVID times as well. Because during COVID, we actually had virtual events, but we pre-recorded a whole lot of talks. So if people are interested, there is about 30 different individual talks with these women around New Zealand sharing their stories on our YouTube channel. Which Rosalind and I were busy trying to record during the COVID period. But one of the things that happened then was we were a bit nervous about restarting the in-person events just as we were coming out of lockdown. We didn't know if anyone would turn up, but we had an absolute full house. Everyone turned up, and it was so lovely to see that people were really craving the opportunity to reconnect and meet people face to face. And that was something that was quite good, because during the COVID time, we weren't sure if we would be able to sustain the Women in Data Science, program for New Zealand, but we were able to do that virtually and then transition back into having the in-person events. So yeah, it was really, really good.
That's so good to hear, and thank you all for sharing different perspectives and information that various people out there listening, the viewers, can take in. And it won't just be the potential woman who might be looking at data science, but it'll be the business community, the tech community, people that don't even understand the challenge that women can face trying to get into the industry, which is probably the underlying challenge that you are aiming to solve. Going back, we've known that the tech industry at large has probably been about 20-25% women, and of course, one of you talked about the ability to come to the event, see speakers, and get exposure to them that people might not normally gain. So these events are so important to be able to shine a light on what women are doing in data science. With that, I always like to ask or think about, was there an inspiring part of history that, in particular, that excites each of you? For example, mine would be the movie Hidden Figures. It was mind-blowing to learn that, not only a woman put a man on the moon, because at least as the movie showed, the astronaut wouldn't do the flight unless the lady had checked the figures. And also at a time when there's racism and segregation in America, she also happened to be an African-American woman to add to it. So I thought it was just such a powerful story that would inspire many. So you might be that, it might be others, it might be something completely different. But if we go around the room, do each of you have some inspiring story that is off the top of your mind, your go-to for this question? Shall we start with Bing?
So I think over the year I have been working in kind of women in data science or women engineering, the wider community within New Zealand, outside New Zealand, of course, within the university. I myself, I didn't come from, I come from a traditional family, which think a woman would not be able to do well in technology. And however, I see some stories, like one of them I saw, and probably also currently in the TED Talk, talking about the female, the woman who working on computer science or coding related, is a mathematics related, and being very successful as the int. And I feel like, okay, this is something we should do. And along the years, I work with many people, and actually including one of my colleagues, Ivy. I know her for many, many years, and she I saw that she is becoming such excellent research in the field. She's not afraid of many things, and I feel like, okay, I should create an environment that at least I should contribute to this, and then later on, even the people in this team, so look at, I mean, oh my God, she can do so many things, and I feel like, okay, I should be, along with that, I continue feeling that I should be one of them who helping this woman in data science community and promote women in data science. So I think that is the main driver for me being keen to involve in this event.
That's really cool, and it I sort of get the message that we don't need to look too far from here in New Zealand to gain inspiration. So thank you very much for that. And Ivy, how about yourself?
Yes, I want to give an example from my high school classmate, and probably the people who outside of Taiwan originally came from Taiwan, and probably people outside of Taiwan don't know her, but she is very famous in Taiwan. So her name is Rose Zhou, and she was the general leader for Yahoo in the Asian area. I know she self-promoted herself. So Yahoo, everybody knows, is a digital kind of company. So she started with someone who didn't know any computer science, any digital technologies. So she just promote herself to her boss, say, I could do it. So she did a very, very good job and to make the Yahoo in Taiwan so successful. So I think, I feel that, sometimes being a woman, you need to proactive. You need to say to people, I can do it. So give me a chance. I can achieve the same as the other people. So I think that is a very good story for us to know.
That is a really good story, and I'm so pleased you raised that point. Just a quick note from me. I was invited by Microsoft to create a women-specific networking course because I run a general networking course in terms of human networking, not computer networking. And of course, naturally, I initially said I'm not the right person because look at me. But they said, no, you've got a great course. Do your research and create it. So, of course, you can imagine I was pretty excited to do so once I sort of given permission. And some of the things that came out around the differences between how men and women traditionally operate. And, there's many of them, but one of them very close to your example is that men will happily ask for things that they've only got up to 30% capability in, whereas women won't ask unless they've got 90 to 95% capability in, statistically speaking. Not everyone. So Rose obviously is in that that 5% of women who put her hand up and said, I can do it, give me the go. And one of the other parts of the networking course is that with confidence you can do anything. So she obviously confidently convinced her team, her boss, and what a great story. Thank you so much for sharing. So now we'll go to Qi. And Qi, do you have any stories or something in your mind around that inspires you?
Yeah, and that's a story I read from our Women in Data Science website. So basically, we know Women in Data Science is not a region event, but it's a global networks. I do read from the news, like women students are professionals in countries with field resources still come together for this event, and sometimes just in classroom. So this spirit of sharing purpose is very powerful, and it shows that it's a catalyst for connections, visibility, and also transformations for people who's maybe don't have, like women in those countries, maybe not have enough resources it's a very important for learn also. Yeah.
Thank you. An excellent point. The different places around the world have different capabilities, resources, etc. And you only have to watch the news to see examples of how the world is changing so quickly. And of course, support across the world is important. So that brings us back to you, Kate. So in terms of the final part of the final question, we'll hand over to you to share what was the inspiring moment or a point that you'd like to reflect on.
Oh, look, you've just been talking about around the world, and I think what I'd like to really share my inspiring thought that got me involved in Women in Data Science is I'd actually been invited to do a presentation, a keynote talk at a conference in the United States, and I turned up there, and I didn't really do a bit of research before I got there, and found out that I was the only female speaker, and that was quite a surprise, and when I had been there, I had been made aware of Women in Data Science. So I went along to the Women in Data Science conference at Stanford University. It was founded there in 2015 by Margot Gerritsen, Professor Margot Gerritsen, who incidentally actually started her academic career in New Zealand. And when I found out about that, and when she found out that I was there from New Zealand, she actually said to me, look, I'm trying to change the world and get more women involved in data science. We're trying to, spin this off and have chapters all around the world. And she asked me if I would bring this to New Zealand. I honestly didn't know what I was getting into, but she had a lot of confidence in me. And that made me feel like, this is something that I can do to contribute towards the community. I saw the vision that Margot had to create this global networked community of women in data science worldwide. So I'm really pleased to have been one of the early adopters and enabling the community to get a really good foothold in New Zealand as well.
That's awesome, and full kudos to you for creating the inaugural Women in Data Science and having that opportunity to connect with, I think, Margot, if I'm correct with her name.
Yeah. Yes.
And of course, over 8 years, you'll have hundreds and maybe thousands of stories around different things that have happened at WiDS. But we've now just come to time. So I thought perhaps there might be a final statement or sentence that each of you might like to sign off on. And I'll give you a moment to think about that while I just give a little bit of a summary, which is, today we've had the ambassadors or organisers of WiDS. So with Kate Kolich, who started WiDS 8 years ago with Rosalind Archer, or Dr. Rosalind Archer, with Bing Zhu, Ivy Lee, and Qi Chen. I mispronounced the last part of your name, who are the current ambassadors. And we've spoken about or heard about what WiDS is about. We've looked at some of the past events, speakers, and what's coming up for this event. And of course, they're inspiring stories. And now I hopefully have given you enough mental time to think about what would you like to close out with your statement. And we'll go through the same order. So if we start with Bing, what would be your final statement for women out there in terms of coming to the event and accessing everything that you provide through WiDS?
I would say so. Final statement, I would say WiDS is very inclusive, and we support women, but we also support everyone working in women in data science, or everyone working in data science. And would like to say what we said today is way less what you can experience in the event. I would really looking forward to see more people join WiDS this year.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And now we'll go to Ivy.
Hi, yes. I just checked our website and to see how many people register. So now we have nearly 200 people register to attend the event on Monday, 18th of August. So yes, very good. So I want to send out the message that please, you still can register, and also both women, all gender welcome. Yes. So even though we call women in data science, we welcome men as well to attend our event to celebrate the success from women.
What an amazing, having 200, and it's a really good point. If I can, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's really important for men to also attend the event, because it helps them learn and understand some of the challenges that women face. And sometimes some men are completely oblivious to it, and sometimes men are obviously the cause or the problem. So for them to come along and get a really positive education and to see just what is possible, what's been achieved, and to really support it, so that at some point in time we hit that 50-50 ratio. And yes, we'll still continue to have women data science to support, but it won't be because there's such a difference in the ratio, and we'll achieve what you're aiming to. So with that, we'll now go to Qi, and what's your final statement for everyone about the event?
Yeah. With women in data science, we'd like to see even stronger collaboration, connecting university and industry to support women in data science at all different levels. And there's a huge potential to build more pathways from education to leadership and make sure the underrepresented community also feel the impact. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And I've got to say, I picked up when you said from education to leadership, because most people talk about pathway from education to employment, but I love how you jump to leadership, because yes, it's also part of the kaupapa is not just to increase the number of women in data science, but obviously to also increase them going through the whole chain to the top, you could say. So thank you very much for that. And that leaves Kate. So Kate, we'll get you to be the final part of this picture. What's your final statement for everyone regarding WiDS August 18th and everything we've spoken about?
I'd say if you are curious about learning about data, or you'd like to even, transport your skills from a different area into the data space, this is a really good place to hear about it. Throughout the years, we've had a lot of people that have had different ways of getting into data science. And I know, Ryan, you've talked about the squiggly line that people have with their careers. If you're curious about data science, if you're curious about data and analytics, and you want to be moving into that space, come along to our Women in Data Science event on the 18th of August. I guarantee that you will get some inspiring stories, probably meet some very interesting people, and we're really welcoming. We want to ensure that we promote and enable more diversity and more voices in the data and technology space. This is really important nowadays, especially with artificial intelligence solutions being developed. It's important that we have lots of lived experiences in terms of the people that are building all of these solutions. And one of the first ways to start that is to get involved with the Women in Data Science event.
That is excellent. And I want to say thank you, Shishi, Tanakwe, in every language, in every way that data can be expressed, to say thank you for your time and your effort. All of you, whether you've been involved for 8 years or 1 year, it's amazing what you're achieving. And to hear that there's 200 registered on the 4th of August, we've got, what have we got? 14 more days to get to 400. Can we double it in 14 days? Maybe that's a bit aspirational on my behalf, but it just came off the top of my head. I was trying to think of a number, but 200 is amazing. So that what it says to me is there is a really large community. If there's 200 attending, there's a lot more who aren't possibly attending in person or online, which, the message from me, to just a simple one to cap it off, is if you're standing back and wondering, well, I don't know, I'd like to, but I don't know, I'd like to. There's 200 other people that are taking the leap, and I can assure you, you'll find more than one person that you sync with and have a great conversation with, whether it be one of the experienced speakers or whether it be someone who's just new like yourself, wanting to check it out. So with that, I will say thank you to you four and let you four say goodbye. And with that, we'll close the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you all at WiDS in New Zealand.
Yeah.
August 18th. We'll see you at WiDS. Thank you very much.
Thank you.